So, you know.
When your birthday?
April 12th. Just had one.
Just had one.
Yeah, 53 years old.
He not in the Virgo club. Like
He not.
He not in our club.
Don't hate
He
now.
not in our club.
I ain't mad at it.
He don't get it. He don't.
I ain't start no trouble.
He don't know what that's like.
Okay, I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know what's happening in the Virgo club.
Hey
but,
man, and something different happens in the Virgo club.
That's a fact.
I
That is a
can't
fact.
tell you all that. I can't tell you. If you ain't in there, I can't tell you all
Yeah,
the
it's a secret. Top secret.
Might have to do away with you.
all I can say is the Aries Club has been working for me for 53 years.
Aries good guy.
And
I'm not mad at you.
Aries pimps too, you know. They got
now, I don't know about all of that.
They got
I
all
don't know
of
about all of that.
Let me tell you something. Alan Fisher, my buddy Alan Fisher, I got all his scraps in the house. That boy was a pimp, boy. That's my buddy right there.
All right, we're about to move.
Go ahead.
Okay.
The Gentleman Style Show.
Welcome to the next episode of the Gentleman of Style Show. I'm Baldwin.
And I'm Creature. Today we've got a great guest. When I say great, I really mean great, right? So we got what we call.
Now, hold on now.
What you need me to say?
Now, great is
Great is
putting
great.
a very strong emphasis.
Hey, look, man, I ain't got to bite my tongue when I'm talking about certain things. All right. This man is a comedy jewel. And what do you do with jewels? You take care of it. It's precious, right?
They're precious.
All right
They're
then.
precious. That's correct.
This brother's an actor. He's a writer, producer. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. I'm waiting on you.
saying, don't that sound like comedy jewel? Don't that sound like great to you?
Hey, man, all I can say is I am looking forward to this conversation, and I got to take your word for it. If you say he's a comedy jewel, then he's a jewel.
See,
Let's
that's
do
what I
it.
like. That's why he's my man.
Let's do it.
So let's welcome to the Gentleman Style Show, Mr. Rodney Perry.
All right.
Get on that here, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
All right.
I like that time.
Appreciate you.
Well, cool right there.
You know, we ain't
I'm
going
underdressed, man.
No, you good.
I'm underdressed. I done got my whole thing together right there. I know the gentleman really meant gentleman.
Hey, that's what we mean.
I love that.
Yes.
I like the red, yeah.
Appreciate it.
You know, we just country boys just trying. Well, he ain't no country boy.
I'm a country boy too.
Oh, yeah.
Stop it. Don't do me like that. I'm from the country. Don't
You
do
say
it.
so.
All right, man.
You say so.
Yeah, I like the way y'all claim the country. I love that.
Yeah, we got to. That's who we are. That's what it was all built on. You know?
So Rod,
Mhm.
tell us about your humble beginnings.
The humble beginnings.
Let's start from a geographical aspect.
Okay.
Where are you originally from?
So, you know, I think
You took a deep breath. Like that was a hard.
No, it ain't hard. It ain't hard, but we're the sum of a lot of places.
Right.
So, born and raised on the south side of Chicago, Cook County Hospital, Chicago proper for anybody that really knows Chicago, because Chicago's really weird. Because if you ain't from the city, they don't respect you. So I'm from Chicago, the real Chicago.
Real city.
And we moved out of Chicago my sophomore year of high school to my mother's hometown in Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay.
And what I'm not going to do is not claim Monroe, Louisiana. Because Monroe has been on Facebook talking about Rodney Perry be acting like he ain't from here. And so I spent some formative years there at high school. My oldest daughter was born there. And then I started living life. I lived in the Navy for I was in the Navy. I was stationed in New Orleans for a few years.
Okay.
I was in the Bay Area, which is my comedy home.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for a few years.
I want to ask you something about the Bay though, but go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. And the Bay Area is a huge comedy town too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we transitioned to Los Angeles and then to Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Bay Area. You know, there's some artists that I follow, and they're from the Bay, and people talk about the Bay and everything.
Name, call them out. Who's your artist? Goapele, Hammer.
Are we talking about musical artists or are we talking about?
Yeah, these are musical artists and everything.
Okay.
Like some white girls and stuff like that.
Okay, I ain't mad at that.
Because when I think about the Bay, I think about white girls.
Is that right? That's how you feel about it?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, but the
that's what I'm asking. I don't understand the Bay. What is that?
Let me give it to you. So the Bay is Oakland and San Francisco and a conglomerate of other things. So it's kind of a melting pot. So the Bay is kind of the West Coast Chicago. What Oakland is. Oakland is very black.
Right.
San Francisco is very white.
Right.
But San Francisco is black too.
Okay.
It's just it's kind of a gumbo of humanity.
Right, because these white girls, I'm talking, they rappers and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
So that's where that go ahead.
No, who are you talking about?
And then
you don't know because you don't follow people.
You got E40. You got there's a
right, E40.
There's a huge musical tradition. Tony is from the Bay.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, a lot of good acts come from the Bay area.
Right.
And a lot of good comedians. I mean, Richard Pryor, he went back to the Bay Area and found himself, myself, Cat Williams, Lunell, the bad girl in comedy.
Lunell's from the Bay.
We was all in the Bay together.
Oh.
So we was in a pretty.
Cat from the Bay. He was in the Bay.
He's from Ohio, but we was all in the Bay together in the early '90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To answer your question though, like this girl group they called themselves the White Girl Mob, and it was like Krayshawn, Lil Debbie, and I forgot the other girl. And then I think the other rapper dude, Riff Raff, is from.
I've heard that stuff. Now that you say it, yeah. But that could be. I mean, it's so many things it could be if it's the Bay, because the Bay is kind of the overall name of the area. You see when you see Golden State Warriors, but I mean, there's San Francisco, there's Oakland, there's all the way down south to Fresno, up to San Jose. All that's the Bay Area.
Let me ask you another question. Is the weather really that good in that area?
There's a saying that says the coldest summer the coldest winter was the summer I spent in San Francisco. So it gets really cold in the Bay Area because it sits on the water.
Okay.
And so like you can be there in the daytime, be like, this is beautiful. At night, you be like, I don't want to be here.
Really?
This is ridiculous. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know it was that extreme.
It gets cold. It's not LA.
Right.
It's not LA at all.
LA totally.
And so that's one of the mistakes I made. So I took orders to California, and I was still in the Navy. I took orders to California, and I thought the Bay Area and LA was on the map. Right. On the map, it's only this far apart. That's 6 hours.
That's 6 hours.
That's a 6 hour drive.
Okay.
And so I found out the geography was way further apart than I thought it was.
Okay, now you educated me. So I love to learn stuff like that, because I didn't know, because I'm thinking the same thing that you thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's all Cali, it's
California. It ain't all Cali. You think California covers almost the whole western seaboard?
True.
Because like we look on like.
So the Bay is further north. Is that where
the Bay is north? Yes.
It's further north than LA.
But it's stuff way further north of that.
Right.
So it ain't all the way north either. It's just north of LA.
Right.
It's 6 hours north of LA.
What the prices looking like over there?
Crazy expensive.
Okay. All of it.
All of it. Okay. California, baby. You pay for the sun.
Pay for the sun.
Yeah. Location.
Pay for that free.
Location and opportunity.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Location and opportunity. All right. So we talked about your upbringing in terms of that was kind of a melting pot too. How were you able to adjust to these different areas? Because these areas are very different. Mm-hmm. Louisiana, Chicago, Cali. What about you or how was your upbringing, I guess, with your family that allowed you to be able to adapt to those types of different things?
Man, that's a great question. So I'm from Chicago. I navigate the gang life. I made it out of Chicago without getting beat up, and we moved to Monroe, Louisiana, a little small town in Louisiana, and I get jumped like 3 days in, because I had a bit of arrogance about myself. And so to answer your question, the life lesson I learned was to not be so arrogant that you don't pay attention to your surroundings.
Right.
And so, but you learn also that every place got something to give. All the people got something to give. And so now as a comedian, I travel around the world, And I want to say I've been to almost every place in America that you can go, and then I've traveled around the world too. And people are people.
That is
Now,
so true.
when you say you navigated the game of life. How can you expound on that?
Yes. So, and me and my buddy from Chicago, we had this conversation the other day. So you might not be a gangbanger in Chicago, but you become affiliated by virtue of your geography. Right. So if you are on the south side of Chicago on 126th State, then you're a GD.
So you say when you're living in a certain area like that, you get pulled into it regardless.
By default.
Because of the geography of where you're at.
Whether you like it or not. And I wasn't an active gang member, but I was, because of what street I grew up on, that made me kind of a gang member.
Right.
You know, and that was one of the things that my mother wanted to kind of exercise us from as well. Yeah.
Okay.
In situations like that, and I don't want to harp on it, but in situations like that, how does that work if, you walking with your partner and you're not really affiliated, but you're walking with your partner and something go down, is the expectation, okay, we got to help them because we from the block? Or is it,
you try to stay your butt in the house,
right.
So stay out of the whole big thing.
Yeah.
And that was my mother's rationale. And how about this? So they try to, maybe 5th grade, and the gangbangers, they hit me up. They're like, "Look, you about to join?" And I told my mom, I said, "Mom, they want me to join the gang." She said, "What?" She said, "You tell them you can't. You can't join."
Mama
said, "I go back." Mama said, "I can't join y'all." They was like, "What? We never even heard that. Who is this dude?" So yeah, they got me out of it though.
That worked.
It worked. It was crazy. Wow. Yeah.
Sometimes the smallest things.
I know, right? I didn't think that would work.
Leave that man mama alone, man. Yeah.
I watch too much TV because I didn't think that would work.
It worked very. And thank you to the gang disciples for letting me go. But also, I'm in Chicago, and one thing that was a part of the Chicago culture at that time was house music. So I kind of made the segue into that dance world and the house world, which kind of saved me from there. Used to, I don't dance like that. I used to do something back in the day. But so I attribute that world for saving me as well, giving me something else to do. And I played Little League Baseball. I did. My mother kept me active, where I had other things to do other than terrorize the community.
Let me ask you a question. Speaking on that part right there, you said your mother kept you active. And from what I'm hearing, that contributed to you staying safe and staying out of trouble.
Yeah.
And you think there's something missing out of today's culture as far as from a family perspective, where cell phones and putting kid in front of a screen and leaving them alone, where we're not like keeping them active in like extracurricular activities? What's your view on that?
I mean,
Designs by RODNEY Stone.
The 1229 collection is a classic line of products that brings your vision to life.
I try not to judge parents with a blanket approach, because I know what it's like to raise young kids. Right. But you try to keep them as active as you can.
Father of 5 by the way?
Six.
Father of
Five,
six.
five girls.
Five girls. Okay.
Five girls.
Okay,
So,
okay.
like, I had to take my daughter to a piano lesson yesterday.
So
And
mind the piano's class on money, but go on.
dude, man, but how about this? It's expensive.
It is
It's
expensive.
expensive, like depending on what your kid do, and then they may not like it, they may not do it.
Right.
You know, my daughter played softball for one season, and she didn't want to play no more.
Right.
Now I got all this softball equipment in the garage.
Right.
Ain't nobody ever gonna touch again. And so you try to give your kids the opportunity, but they're people. They gotta figure. They gotta find their way.
Right.
And so, like, I bought my son $1,000 worth of sound equipment and stuff. And he's like, Dad, I wish I still had that stuff. I'm like, it's gone.
Right.
It's gone. It's gone. So to answer your question, I feel for parents now, man, because it cost $90 for me to play baseball back in the day. It costs $1,000 now. To play baseball. But if your kid is good, they could have a year. They could have a career.
Right. You want to
that could change their life.
Yeah.
But the reality is the kid may not want to do that.
Right.
It might be just a season for them.
And I don't feel like you should press them if it's not something they.
You can't press them, but they be good. Like my daughter was she was a track star. My daughter ran track. She got a scholarship to University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. She's there now, but she just fell out of love with track. And you never know what type of coach they're gonna get. And sometimes the coaches are too hard. Sometimes the coaches are too soft. It's all this stuff to deal with. But it's not like it was when we were kids, because it was easier to get involved with extracurricular activities, and it wasn't as expensive. Because nowadays, if your kid play football, you got to buy the equipment.
Right.
You got to buy the pads and all that stuff. That's $500
Right.
by itself. So life just gets a little more expensive
No,
overall.
you're absolutely correct. My younger daughter was doing gymnastics and everything.
Oh, gymnastics ain't no punk.
I talk about, we need 800 for the uniforms and this and that. I was like, and a bag. And,
don't let her dance. Don't let her dance,
bro.
That dancing,
Bro,
you buying another outfit every year.
Every year. So every year.
We about to hold her whole daddy. We about to have a whole daddy moment on
Every
this.
year.
I passed that. My daughter's bro.
It's real out here, man. It ain't no joke.
Man, and then so my daughters that's 21 and 23 now. They went through all that together, so it was like boom, boom.
Oh yes.
It was two.
Oh man, you get hit. You get hit.
Oh, weighing your boy out. Oh,
Kicking out about 3 or 4 grand a month.
oh yeah.
Hard, boy.
But that's also proof that you always have enough.
Yeah. Right.
You always have enough.
Yeah.
My grandmother used to pray for me. She prayed for me one time. She said, Lord, just give me enough. I said, hold on. Tell God I need some extra.
A little bit more.
I need my cup to spill it over.
Right. Exactly. Shoot.
So growing up, give or take, with all the different, and I always call them cultures, because wherever you live, it's cultural.
Yes.
Different cultures, different things you learn. Where did the comedy? Were you a funny kid, or were you that kid that was looking for something, didn't know what you wanted to do, or did you have something that you wanted to do, you just hadn't done it?
So this is the way I characterize it. I wasn't the funniest human being around myself. I'm from Chicago. Everybody funny. Right. Your uncle funny, your cousin funny, your daddy funny. They will roast you. They would what you got on? This is like my reality every day.
Right.
But the difference between me and you and anybody else in the world that will be a comedian is I had to do it in front of strangers. I had to perform, and that's another thing. I know people that are funnier than me. Jeffrey Lighten is funnier than Rodney Perry, but Jeffrey Lighten is not gonna do it in front of people. It's one of my buddies from high school. He still tickles me to this day.
Right.
My brother JT, who makes me laugh better than any person on the planet. But he's never gonna be a comedian because he don't want to perform.
Do you find that to be common though, like from because you meet a lot of comedians in your profession and everything, that they have like these outside inspirations that are not in the business and everything, they draw from?
Yes, that is definitely a common story. I had a teacher in 2nd grade that would let me tell jokes at the end of the day if I'd shut up. And so that was kind of the emphasis of it. And of course, it takes many more years to find another profession.
Right.
So once you realize you're funny, then you got to figure out how to make money, and that comes way later.
How did you get into the industry as far as TV, movie, all of that? How did that happen? What was your foray into that?
First of all, great question. Nobody's ever asked me that. So here goes. I'm in LA and I'm noticing that I'm watching. You know, I'm a Rudy Poot. Nobody know who I am. I'm just a becoming comedian.
Right.
And I noticed all the guys that were working, that were actively working, doing their thing, that was going out, working in comedy clubs and stuff, coming back, were also actors. And I'm like, and you know, me and my buddy Ali Sadiq, we've had debates about whether a comedian has to act or not. I believe they do. If you want to hit the really big money.
Yeah.
And so, again, I would see people like Guy Torrey. I would see people like Alex Thomas, who was also an actor. And so I began to take acting classes. I took a class with Tasha Smith, who you see on everything now. Tasha Smith, T-Saw Acting Studio. And that was the beginning. I mean, I was in class with like Flavor Flav and Chris Spencer and all of us, you know, just learning how to act and performing and kind of preparing for that thing. You know, what I tell all young actors is get in a class somewhere. Get around your peers. Just like you're doing corporate America. You put yourself around your peers and you can kind of, you get the information.
Right.
There's nothing more.
Right.
And so I made that choice to start taking those classes, and it's fueled my acting career. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: you come to America 1 or come to America 2?
2.
Come to America. Yes, two. Yes. Eddie Murphy is the reason I do comedy, first of all.
Oh, is that right?
Eddie Murphy is the reason I do comedy. And so here's a quick story. So my agent, so the working title of Coming to America was The Quest.
Okay.
The Quest. So I get a call from my agent, and you got to audition for The Quest. I'm like, cool. So I go in audition. Every black actor in Atlanta is in this audition. Right? And I'm like, man, you learn to develop a thick skin, and you don't put too much on. You do the audition and forget about it.
Right.
So I go in and audition, and maybe a week later, I get a call. My agent like, yo, Rodney, you booked The Quest. I'm like, good stuff. When do it work? And she said, you're not excited? I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm excited like I am about anything else, you know, but yeah, I'm excited. She's like, do you know that The Quest is coming to America too?
Right. Now,
No, I did not.
Now I'm excited. Like, wait, hold on.
So I go upstairs. One of the few times that my wife and I are the only two people in the house. I walk upstairs. I was in my office in the basement. I walk upstairs. And I said, babe, I just booked a movie. She said, really? She like me. She ain't tripping. I said, yeah, I booked Coming to America too. She looked at me. We looked at each other and cried like a baby.
That's strong right there. That was
Yeah.
strong.
It was strong, man.
That was strong.
And so now the reason I do comedy, I get to see this guy every day on set.
Right.
And
Had
it was,
you met him before that?
I had met him because, you know, LA is a small community.
Yeah.
So when I was in LA, I got opportunity to go to his house, fight parties and stuff like that. So I had met him, but ain't nothing like going to work with a guy.
Right.
Because now it's real.
Right.
You know, it's like you a peer now. You know, even though I'm 31 on the call sheet, you won, we on the call sheet together. And so, yeah, he was really, hey, Rodney, how you doing today? I'm like, I know he was like, what's wrong? Is this dude retarded? Because I just be standing there sometimes like, is Eddie Murphy talking to me?
Eddie Murphy, right.
Is Eddie Murphy the reason I do comedy talking to me? Yeah, so yeah, it was awesome, man.
You weren't at the house that time when Charlie Murphy said that Rick James was up in there and he had his feet all over.
Nah, I ain't see Rick
You
James.
didn't see that?
Never gave you niggas money. No,
He get another one.
I wasn't there then. No.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I really didn't get to deal with Charlie a lot, but everybody I know that knew him said he was an awesome human being. Yeah.
He seemed real cool.
But one thing I didn't say, if I didn't say this, when I gave you your intro, was the stand-up piece. Because and the reason why I just said that is because I want to, based on what you said, want to make sure people differentiate and have an understanding.
Yeah.
Like, there's comedy, and then there's someone that actually can do stand up and comedy.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Right.
Yeah, I was about to say that is another thing.
Yeah.
There's
I mean, I'm a stand-up first.
right.
I'm a stand-up comedian. That's what I do for a living.
Right.
I mean, I'll be out Saturday. I'll be in Boston. I come back from Boston, go to Philly, do a show in the morning. Leave Philly, go to New Jersey, do another show that evening.
That show kind of scary.
That's this weekend.
God gracious.
And so that stand-up, I mean, ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like standing in front of a live audience and make people laugh, man.
Right.
Ain't nothing like it. And so I'm a stand-up, but again, I had to figure out how, like, I'm relevant because of acting, though.
Right.
Like, stand-up, like, it's people that don't know I'm a stand-up, like, 30 years in.
Right.
Like, it's people that's like, hey, you was in Johnson Family. That's my favorite movie, dog. And they ain't never seen me do stand-up in their life. And then there's people that know my stand-up and don't know my movie. And so it all kind of worked together. It's a conglomerate of everything. It's like as you go through corporate America and you build your resume. I'm building my resume at all times.
How was it, or how did you get on stage the first time to do stand up? What was that? Somebody said, "Hey, you should try this." Did you go to an open mic? What was that first experience?
Oh wow, that's a great question. Wow, you boys good.
That's what we do.
Yeah, nice. Gentlemen, is in here.
That's what we
No. So there used to be this thing back in the day, right? Where I don't know if you remember, like you go through the mall and somebody be like, "Oh my God, you should be a model," and it was like Barbizon or something like that,
Yeah.
and it was kind of a ripoff, but
right.
it gave you a chance to perform.
Right.
And so I did one of those, and it was like I was in my mother's hometown, Monroe, Louisiana, and I was like, "Mama, you know, I saved my money. I want to get in this competition." It was like a competition, and you had to pay like $500 to get in it, but I got a chance to perform. I saved my money myself, and I got in there, and nothing ever happened. But that was the first time that I was like,
I can do this.
I can do this.
Mm.
I can do this. And yeah, that was the early days. Early days.
And the rest was history.
It took a while for history to start. But yeah. Yeah.
Hold that thought real quick.